Tools. Hey, what's going on? Todd Shaw with another episode of the Sawdust Dude. All right, listen, appreciate you guys watching so much. Hey, another video on the Carpenter Apprenticeship program. I appreciate you guys always watching all over the world, really. And so probably my number one question I get all the time is, listen, what am I gonna make? Well, that's kind of hard to nail down exactly, depending on where you are geographically in the U.S. or where you are in the world. But let me just give you some general principles of what to think about, some of the things that you need to ask when you get hired on, and give you kind of a ballpark figure of kind of what you'll make or what you can think about making. You're not going to take over the world. This is not an extremely lucrative thing. The way I've kind of always looked at it, I get up every morning. I love what I do. Yeah, there's been crappy days, but still, I love what I do. I love the opportunity to get to work with wood, and as I hear a neighbor, I think they're building a shed a couple just down the road a little bit. But I love that kind of stuff. So let's just kind of look at the ballpark picture. You guys are a carpenter apprenticeship. You're looking at getting into the trade. And it's one of those things, let's kind of look at timeline, what you can think about. So really from 0 to 2 years, really that's the apprenticeship program, or some people call it a junior carpenter or woodworker. So you're going to kind of spend that time really discovering, is this something that I really want to do? And remember, there's all kind of facets and aspects of being a carpenter, a finished carpenter, a frame carpenter, a trim carpenter, a cabinet maker, woodworker, all that. So there's all kind of avenues, and there's videos that I have on that. So check those out as well. So that 0 to 3 years, 2 to 3 years, you're going to be in the apprenticeship program. The next step, really kind of 3 to 7 years, is the journeyman program or the mid-level carpenter. And, you start really honing your skills then. For me, I kind of use that time as like, yeah, I don't like framing so much. Let me get into finish and trim work. And so I kind of drifted over to that aspect of carpentry and really like that. But still keeping those, that what I learned in my apprenticeship years or my junior carpenter years as a frame carpenter, that kind of carried on to my journey. And then really 8 years and plus, you kind of really should be at the top of your game by then. And of course, then going on, to being a master carpenter, which, some people are like, ooh, you got an ego. No, that means you just put in the time. I mean, really 10 plus years, you ought to be a master of your trade. I mean, you ought to know most of the answers. And like I said before, listen, we know that we always keep learning. And so like the last video I did about books that I currently and still read today. So we are always on a mission to learn and improve our craft. So that's kind of the time frame from 0 to 8 years. So, and obviously the pay will get a little bit better each time. So when you're going in the U.S., there's really kind of two ways they'll hire you. W-2, W-4 form, that's a 2 and a 4, a W-2 or 4, and that means that they take out taxes for you. Now, obviously, if I'm getting on, say, at $25 an hour, I'll probably take home, maybe $20 an hour because of the taxes that I have to pay, state and federal taxes. But, I don't want to take a job where I'm 1099. That means I have to pay my taxes. I'm like a subcontractor, which is kind of really they don't do for apprentice kind of programs unless it's a seasonal thing. Remember, you need to make a little bit more money because you're having to pay your taxes. And so you don't want to get to the end of the year and record or report that income, and then you're like, okay, where's my $2,000 or $3,000 that I have to pay? So always keep that in mind. Ask that question: do you pay my taxes or do I pay my taxes? And that's a big thing to understand. But so when you're looking in, and let's say they are going to pay your taxes, are there any benefits, which is a part of your overall package? There's an hourly salary, And then there is benefits. Do I pay my health insurance? Travel, is this where I have to go to a job site? If we're on the road, who pays my motel room? Who pays my per diem, which they call that, is like food for the road. You don't want that coming out of your pocket. And all that needs to be included in all the kind of questions you need to ask. Also a tool allowance. Other than like a hammer, framing square, tape measure, things like that, you need to bring that to the job site. But far as like a table saw or a chop saw or even a circular saw or a reciprocating saw, who buys the saws? Who buys the blades? So if that has to come out of your pocket, all of a sudden you're making less money. So those are things to ask about tool allowance and what do they provide. And I made some little notes here. And that's probably the big thing. And back with travel, so with travel, do I ride with a crew? Do you have a company vehicle, or am I using my own vehicle? And if I'm using my own vehicle, what kind of mileage allowance do you pay? So when you're looking at your overall salary for being a carpenter, those are all the things you really need to think about and all the things that you need to ask about. Because otherwise, all that stuff starts coming out of your pocket and you're making less and less and less take-home pay. So I know you're eager to get started, but ask those questions first before you get started. That way you're not like, man, I gotta quit because I'm just not making the money. So let's get down to what can I expect to make? Well, like I said, on a worldwide scale, I can't answer that in your world. Just like I can't answer it for anybody in the United States, because geographically, things are gonna pay less or more depending on the local cost of living and how that construction company operates. But one of the things that you can do is get on the websites like ZipRecruiter, and I'll have this down in the description below. Excuse me. ZipRecruiter, Indeed, another one I just ran across, Teal, T-E-A-L, Teal, is another one where you can go on and find jobs. And even if you don't apply, you can get an idea. Just type in carpenter, apprenticeship carpentry jobs available. And you can look to see where recruiters are actively looking for the trades, because there is a demand for people in those the trades right now, for carpentry, HVAC, plumbing and electrical. So there's a big demand for people wanting to work. So look locally to see where, and even you can do a national search, but look on those websites, and like I said, they're in the description below, and see what the pay scale is for you. And that's the best way to tell, to see if this is something that's even financially available for you. So there you go, in a nutshell. I can't say you're gonna make this amount of money because I don't know where you are and what your skills are, but kind of take these ideas and look at your life and start building from there. Start planning, kind of like blueprints. Start making a list of this is where I am, this is what I have to offer, and start actively searching for careers and opportunities. I've been doing this channel long enough. I've had some great stories from people like you that watched this video, watched the Sawdust Dude, and like, hey man, I've got the coolest job in the world, making money I never thought I'd make in my entire life, especially young people straight out of high school. And it's a cool way just to build your life. But listen, guys, I appreciate you watching so very much. Listen, man, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Got any more questions? And I appreciate you guys so very much. Thanks for watching another episode of the Sawdust Dude, and I'll see you real soon. Woo!